Welcome back to another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Pete Bercich. Now, when the Minnesota Vikings signed Jonathan Allen, I sat up in my chair. Once I heard we also brought in Javon Hargrave, I jumped out of my chair. I mean, this guy is an absolute menace on the field. But let's take a look at the film and see exactly who we're bringing in and how Brian Flores is going to use him in this defense. Now, when you turn on the film of Javon Hargrave, the first thing you notice is he's playing in a scheme that's a lot different than the one that he's going to play here. 4-3 in San Francisco, jetting, meaning those guys get off the ball north and south. It's all about getting in the backfield, right? It's all about getting in the backfield. And this is a perfect example of Javon Hargrave doing exactly that. Now, on this play, he's going to get bumped by this guard to try to give this center enough time to reach him so they can get the number count that they want on the front side of this play. But watch what Hargrave's able to do and how far back he can get into the backfield of an offense. This center's trying to get to him. Now, right here, he almost has him reached, and you can kind of see this wave right here that the running back is trying to get through, but he won't be able to because Hargrave not losing any depth at the line of scrimmage, holding the point in that regard, goes right down, horizontally down the line of scrimmage, and again, get that big arm in there and get a tackle. This guy is outstanding against the run. Now, a perfect example of the difference in the front and how they're trying to play it. In this case, you're going to see Hargrave outside this guard. You can see him. He's cocked and he's turned, right? He is in a different position. He won't be doing a lot of that with us, but watch what happens. He gets north and south. This guard is going to come off and block him and try to just fan him to the outside. So he's on the backside of this run. But watch what happens. He's able to get into that guard, hold him up, get the distance, get those arms out. As this defensive end runs into his offensive lineman on the pick, it still allows him, because he's not tied up, he's using his hands to get off of that and find a lane and get in and take away the cutback. And when he gets guys, even though he's going horizontally, he brings them right to the ground. So this guy's really good against the run. Another measure of how well a guy plays the run is when he's coming from a position of disadvantage. And what do I mean by that? I'll show you. But keep in mind, this is James Conner, big, strong running back. We saw him this year with the Cardinals. Very tough to bring down. We'll get to that in a second. But in this case, what's happening is they're trying to run the old pin and pull, meaning this tackle is going to block down on the 3 technique, has the angle, everything should work. This play should not be able to be stopped by this 3 technique. But what happens? As soon as the ball is snapped, Hargrave can feel the pull of both the guard and the center, and he feels that down block, and right here, he's able to work to be head up, right? So he's head up on this tackle, on a position where the tackle should be able to easily pin him down. The mesh point, he's already squared up. Now what happens after this is just great. Fights off and makes a big tackle for no gain against a running back who's a stud. What always amazes me when I watch film is something may not work, but other teams try to replicate it. So we're really going to see the exact same thing. But I want to bring up a different point with what Flores is going to do with this defense. In this case, again, pin and pull. The tackle is going to try to block down. Center, guard are going to pull to the outside. So watch how this play develops. Tackle tries to block down. This is exactly the same play that we saw out of the Cardinals a few seconds ago. Hargrave already squared up, spins out of this one and gets down the field. The difference, however, is what's going on the outside right here. In Flores' system, you're going to have either a Jonathan Grenard or an Andrew Van Ginkel on the outside. This is an off-the-ball linebacker turning this thing back. So this edge is going to be set somewhere around here instead of way out here. And when you have someone like Hargrave able to play inside out, he's not going to have to run as far. And this man is going to be making a ton of tackles inside those outside linebackers who will be setting that wall, making that running back cut back inside. Okay, so we've seen Hargrave play the run. Well, this man has 49.5 career sacks. So you're going to see another fantastic interior pass rusher. Perfect example right here, okay? Guard's going to turn out, center's going to turn the other way, a lot of space. Again, watch the technique. This is just an absolute thing of beauty. He's getting inside, presses the guard, getting this guard again to stand straight up. There's 2 things that we talk about. The body position of the guard. If his shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage and he's standing straight up, it's usually a win for the defense. But that punch, got this lineman up. Now he's got him set up with the inside arm. Now that left arm's gonna come right underneath. Look at this, boom, underneath, makes the sack. Now, one of the traits of an interior pass rusher that you gotta have is power. You gotta have power because you're not gonna have the wide edges on the outside to get around an offensive tackle. Sometimes you gotta take a guy right down the middle. Hargrave can do that. He can absolutely take a guard and walk him back. Watch this case, he's taking this guy back. He's got this lineman so pushed that he has to kick this leg out, right? So he's almost pancaked. The guard is saying, oh my God, I'm going backwards. He's trying to drop that anchor. But as soon as he drops that anchor, Hargrave knows that's exactly when I got to release and get around him, takes the edge, gets back and makes the sack. So power to speed, Hargrave has it. He is going to be a force inside. Now this is why I absolutely love interior line play with the details. You want to talk about power, watch this play right here. As Hargrave gets off the football, watch the hand placement. It's a thing of absolute beauty. He gets into that offensive lineman. His pads are lower, but that left hand is underneath the arm of that offensive lineman. Why? To get him to tilt. Look at the shoulder angle of this offensive lineman. He's got him tilted. Now he's got him off. It's like the big heavy oak chairs in the dining room, right? When you push them, they don't move. But when you stand them on two legs, all you have to do is tap them and they fall over. That's what he's doing here. He's getting that lineman off his center of gravity. Now he can get over the top, get underneath, and get right to the quarterback. This guy has power. Now, the other characteristic of an interior pass rusher is you've got to be able to set guys up. And this is a perfect example of Hargrave doing that. The center is going to turn the opposite way, but you don't have a lot of room in here. But watch what Hargrave does. Takes that little jab step inside. What does that mean? Watch the feet on this guard, number 69. He has to hop to get back on him. Now look what that means. He's basically taken this lineman and moved him from outside here to now he's inside here. And that's all the area he needs to get to the edge of this offensive lineman. There it is, a long arm, eventually gets that arm through. Now he's to the back, able to chase that thing down. Look at that, football loose, fumble. This defense is outstanding at making offenses turn the football over. I expect that to continue with this guy on the defensive line. Are we having fun yet? Because I could do this all day long. I love watching this guy on film. Sometimes the shortest distance to the quarterback is a straight line. Not a lot of guys can do that. Not a lot of guys have the power. Again, here in Hargrave, look at his pad level. Underneath his guard, he's just gonna force this guy back in. But by being square, he's avoiding this running back out of the backfield. You can't chip like that, and he just backs that guard up into the lap of the quarterback. This guy can make a guard back up like a dump truck. Now, with any interior pass rusher, you gotta have a lot of tools in the tool belt, and you gotta set things up. And this is an example of Hargrave setting things up. He's been taking this center down the middle, play after play after play. Watch what he does here. He says, I'm gonna take you down the middle with that first step. So what is this center doing? He's getting his feet planted, knees bent, he's ready to get hit. But what happens? Whoop! Look at that head. You know, again, the body position. Head's looking downward. He's almost flat already. He has the center beat and he's been setting him up to get to this point. That's the beauty of it. That's the caginess of a guy like Hargrave. He beats him cleanly. Love watching this guy pass rush. All right, we've seen Hargrave operate one-on-one, but he can also run a lot of pass rush stunts. And this is a perfect textbook example of an ET, meaning the end comes underneath first and then tackle goes around. And watch what I'm saying here. All right, so at the snap of the football, this end is gonna work his way underneath the tackle to shorten that edge. Meanwhile, the interior is going to step up, collapse that guard, and loop around. Shortest distance to the quarterback. Flores, I know, loves doing these kinds of things, and he's gonna love being able to do this season. So watch this, he steps in there, Hargrave pulls that guard down, the defensive end is coming underneath. Now the key to this is that you wanna replace the feet of the defensive end. You don't wanna come all the way out here because that leaves too much space. You wanna be right off the edge of this defensive lineman, and watch Hargrave. He turns this thing north and south, right there. Fields tries to step up, brings him to the ground, easy sack. Now, his ability to play the run, his ability to do pass rush stunts, and is also able to win one-on-one against a guard when the center turns the other way. This guy is perfect for Brian Flores and what he's trying to do.